guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are talking about home security. It's absolutely everywhere that the crime is now on the rise. I've done a little bit of research, guys, and basically the latest research I found, it was done in the middle of 2022, and then basically the statistics of your house being broken into for a burglary is 1 in 46, and this is absolutely scary. I appreciate the statistics are probably done on the basis of course, some areas have a higher crime rates and then some areas are not. So combinedly, is an average 1 in 46 houses is likely to be broken into. Also, the not the scary part is, but part of that 58%, the burglars are entering through the front door, 38 through the back door, and the remaining percentage is through the windows or the side door. So there's something to be basically bear in mind. So as we're talking, and I really didn't want to do the video, guys, it's kind of really unpleasant thing to talk about really, but I think it's really important as a preppers because we do have obviously stuff inside our houses, so we are preparing, and as things are getting obviously worse and worse, and people are going to be desperate for food, desperate to support their, drug habits or God knows whatever else. It's just going to get worse probably by a mile anyway. So as you're probably aware, guys, there are two types of burglars. The opportunistic burglars, they'll just have a go, just opening your door, and there's obviously the burglars that are doing this for as a career, basically, like I said, to support their drug habit or whatever else, or just basically just to make a living out of that. And the important part is the burglars that do this as a career, they will target specific houses, and it's basically, as an average, I think, based on, it's either something like a size of your house, a car that you have in the drive, or one of the main things I read is if you advertise stuff in a window. A lot of times, I drive past a lot of posh houses that have glass doors, glass windows, and they have basically blinds are not shut or the curtains are not shut, so you can see everything. And sometimes I've just been driving through and I think I can see this person different times a day when they're at home, they have the light on, it's dark outside, so I can see through the whole house. I can see, say, the massive 60-inch TV there. I can see everything that they have. And this is kind of thing is very important to avoid, because for a burglar who target a house, they would select a house and they would watch it. They would understand and learn what it is that you do and when you're in or out of the house. So it's very important not to give them this opportunity, and don't advertise the stuff that you have, or don't advertise when you're in or out the house. So basically make sure that if you are inside and if you are sitting down dinner, just draw your blinds, especially if you know it's dark outside and people can see in. I think it's very important, but a lot of people just don't do it. I think if you live in an area where it's potentially low crime, you think you've got nothing to worry about, but the chances are there's always going to be a time that this area potentially, or area you live in, might attract a burglar. And it's just so important, guys. So please just take this matter seriously. Whether you have a lot of preps or not, we all have stuff in our houses that obviously worth money to someone. So even if you don't think it's worth a lot to you, it'd be worth a lot to somebody else. So please make sure that you do draw your curtains and blinds, especially nighttime or evening time when the light inside the house is on. Okay, so second thing is we're talking about basically the protecting your perimeter. Really, it kind of comes as like a common sense really, but the first thing you want to do is secure your perimeter. I've mentioned in one of my videos when I talked about the New Year's plans basically for this year that we wanted to buy some barbed wire to put around the areas where we have a gate. We have tall bushes and we're letting them grow. We have 2-meter fences, but there's some areas that basically are falling through the gaps where the fence or the gate, in fact, it's not say very low, but it's low enough to make me worry and consider putting up extra security. So I didn't want to wait for until like middle of the year when things potentially get far worse, because chances are you might not be able to get what you want. So we've ordered and we bought 2 lots of the barbed wire to go around and have it ready. Basically, if we need to choose to do it, then we have ability to do this. Second thing is, again, you will probably have, or majority of you have, is the security lights. And we have security lights front and back and on the sides. Basically, it's really important to act as a deterrent. Yes, of course, it doesn't always work for everybody, because lights come on and off, flicker when you have like a cat or a dog going by. And I think majority of people just kind of don't even bat an eyelid to the fact that yes, light came on, doesn't matter, it's probably a cat or a dog. But chances are with the statistics, again, 58% the chance that the burglaries are happening is when the people are actually at home. So it's something, again, something really to think about. And when I'm talking about the lights, we have the hardwired lights and we have a solar light. So we're talking about, guys, if the crime gets worse, or when it gets worse, it will be worse at the time where there's no electricity. If you ever watched, you know, the films that they do when it's like not the end of the world, but if it's power cut for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever, then all the looting happens because they know that people, all the alarm systems, all the lights are not working because they're all hardwired. So if the grid goes down, you're absolutely stuffed, because obviously all the protection you have, all the alarm system you have in your house, it's not going to work. So it's really important, yes, to have your hardwired lights, because you don't have to worry about obviously having a sun or solar to charge your lights. However, as a precaution, we have both, because again, if there is a power cut and obviously there's no electricity, your lights won't work. So solar thing is really important. So you can get them still really cheaply at the moment, but again, things are like starting to disappear off sale because people are thinking and people are preparing. So it's very important, if you wanted to do this, if you haven't got it, then have a look and obviously make your choice on the lights that you want. There's many there's lights for every budget there anyway, okay? So also one of the things as well is the basic one is the locks. I haven't mentioned, but put the locks in your gates. If you got like oil tank, gas tanks, whatever you have, if you do have such thing, obviously put the locks on front, back gates, whatever you have, just lock it up. It's an extra a little bit of security, and it's just, again, it's the extra little bit of deterrent, okay? So coming up to the cameras, I think I've covered what I wanted to mention really. Yes, the cameras, guys, the same thing. One of the main things, I think, is the camera, because, well, you get to have the evidence if, God forbid, something happens. We had our cameras for a good few years now. They're the Neos cameras, and they are tiny little things. And the reason we chose them, they can twist and do whatever. We chose them because you can buy little covers for them outside so they can go outside, but you have an app which alerts you of any motion, if you choose for it to alert your phone, for any motions or sound that's happening in obviously front or back of your garden. So it then records. Yes, you pay, I think we pay like a couple of pounds a month to store the videos on a cloud. So if we need an access, yes, we can get this from the phone, but at the same time it's actually backed up on the cloud. So if anything happens, if there's any motion there, it records it and you can come back and view the videos, okay? One of the things to consider, guys, we've got those cameras in and out of the house, if that makes sense. We have them on the inside of the windows of the property, and then we have some in the covers outside. So basically those things work, they have a night vision, and they work well if they are outside. So when it's inside, through the glass, it doesn't pick up stuff in the dark. So basically that's why the reason we have basically both. Another reason is, if you do have cameras on the outside, I know some people say if they are reachable, it's easy for somebody to come and just throw a towel over them or spray paint or do something basically to jeopardize the camera itself. However, if the camera is on the inside, it will still record. Yes, it'll as I said, it will have a bit of reflection in there, but you can still make out stuff. So this is why the reason we've chosen to have the cameras that are in and outside. And again, it's important, if you do invest into the cameras, is to position them obviously all around the perimeters. We have them on the ground floor, we have them upstairs pointing down. Is basically to make sure you have a proper surveillance. And on the app, again, you have an options of viewing all your rooms, all your cameras, you can name them. And basically, just for us, it works really well. There are loads of cameras out there, guys, that they have, you know, the proper surveillance systems, that you have a like recorder thing and you've got the cameras, but they're all hardwired. And again, if the electricity goes down, you're absolutely stuffed. However, with those cameras, and they are now out of stock, they are obsolete or they're just sold out, I don't know, but do your research. There's loads of the cameras there. The beauty of those cameras, right, you've got the USB and you can run them off the power banks. So basically how we have the cameras set up, they're set up at the house, whatever they're hanging, they are currently hardwired into, obviously into the sockets. If there's a power cut, we quickly swap and put the power bank into there through the USB, and that will keep this camera still active for about 14 to 15 hours on the average. I'm not sure how milliamp is the 10,000 milliamp battery bank. So again, this is great because you still have the protection and deterrent and option to monitor your perimeter even if electricity is down. Have a look online. There is loads of them, and they're not they're not as cheap as they used to be for obvious reasons, because obviously people now are a little bit more panicking, a little bit more preparing. But there is a lot of them out there at the moment, so have a look and obviously make your choice if you wanted to buy one. We think, to us, it works. I'm not sort of telling you to go and buy any of those things, but it works for us, and that's why we also have 20 millions of power banks, because we have a lot of cameras and we always have them charged up. So if, God forbid, the electricity goes down for a little while, at least we're able to support main cameras for a couple of days. And if you guys, another thing, it's a very basic thing, but if you can't afford to, and I feel, obviously being a woman, I don't know, but I feel that I want to feel secure in my own house. But we all do, guys. It's a human need to feel safe and secure. And if you can't afford to, because yes, of course, you need to buy a couple, and you might not have the sort of funds to be able to do this, but you still want to feel you get some sort of a deterrent, you can pick up things like this. I know it's a bit corny. They're basically a dummy CCTV camera, and it operates on batteries. So, and you can see hopefully you can see it from there, it basically flickers a red light. So if you put it somewhere like on in front of your front door, or somewhere that people can see, because nobody knows whether it's fake or not, unless you put it in a sort of obvious place where you can see there's no cables going in, then it's kind of a little bit of a deterrent. And you can, I think, you buy them for like £5 to £8 on eBay or something. So it's kind of a thing that if you, as I said, if you can't afford to, if you don't want to spend the money on the cameras there's just a little something that might just put some opportunists away or turn them away from your house anyway. So is that, guys, for our plan really is going forward. I think I find it really important that I've bought the emergency blankets. I showed you in the last video. I forgot to show them up here, but excuse me. If we have an SHTF situation, and for example there's no electricity for ages, and you want to cook inside, or whatever you're doing that emits light that basically indicates to other people outside that you have energy of some kind, putting up those foil things and taping up your windows is actually a good idea to have them, because it basically stops anybody assuming that you have something that they want. And yes, you might have a blackout curtains. We have blackout curtains and we have a blinds, but the light still bleeds from around. So if it's pitch black outside because there's no street lights, people can still see through, even through the blackout curtains on the edges, that you have a light on. So they might think that, again, you might have something that they want. So buying some of those is a good idea. I bought a few, put them in the different places and use for that situation alone, but we need to get more. Also things you can buy, which I'm sure you're aware, but it costs like a lot of money, is like shutters, you know, the metal storm shutters that you have in the shops. They cost like hundreds and hundreds of pounds if you want something really big and wide, but I'm sure there's other options there to consider, and we are going to be thinking, if the situation of stuff is not improving, we are going to be considering a cheaper options of basically barricading the patio doors and stuff like that. It just sounds that it's really, we shouldn't be doing this, right? It sounds like it's something from the movies. However, if you do have the patio doors and many doors, windows, it's very important that you protect them. You can put alarms on the windows as well, which are really inexpensive at the moment. You can literally pick them up for, again, about £5. It's little something, but all those little things just make your house just that little bit more secure. And another thing what we're going to do is the security film. You can buy security film for your windows and doors. We've got them at the front. It's basically like a car window tint, but you can buy them either in really dark or you can buy them in mirrored. We have them in a mirrored effect at the front, in the porch, because basically if anybody comes in, they can't see anything. If they shine a torch, they can't see, they only can see reflection of the mirror. It's the same basically way as the the blanket, the foil blanket will work, but they're permanently stuck to your window and obviously deterring somebody seeing in. And at the same time, they create an extra, if you buy thick ones, an extra thickness that stops the glass shattering. So if somebody just breaks in the glass, it normally just goes everywhere and people put their hand through, get it to open the door. Having that security film, especially the proper security film that made for the specific purpose, makes that if somebody's trying to break the glass, it just doesn't break so easily. So it takes an extra time for you to be alert if there's any noise, and actually obviously call the police and do whatever you have to do. So anyway, I think I've covered everything, guys. And again, I don't want to panic you, but obviously things that just happen in there. And as a prepper, and I think it's very important that all of us trying to do the best we can do to protect what we work so hard for, and obviously what we're doing anyway. So Anyway, we'll hopefully find this video helpful. If you have any other suggestions for securing your house, any cheap tips or anything, any other gadgets that you know will be helpful to everybody, please comment below. Otherwise, well, I see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.